All right, welcome. Day 3, gratitude challenge. So on a little bit later than normal. So it's now afternoon. So happy afternoon, Joyfluers. Busy morning, productive morning. As you can tell, being a bit later in the day, the lighting in here is so different. And yes, I've got a dark side. Oh, it's the opposite. I've got a dark side and a light side. You can see I'm sitting next to the window. So today, how to do gratitude, or more so, how do I do gratitude? So yesterday I touched on what is gratitude and did talk about it being a feeling. And something to actually have a physical interaction with. So that does tie in very nicely with this topic today, how to do gratitude. And look, the truth is there is no wrong or right way to do gratitude. This is personal. I'm going to talk about how I do gratitude, but that doesn't mean that that's the way that's going to resonate or work for you. So really, gratitude ultimately, for me personally, it's a way of being, and it's bringing gratitude into everything that I do, the way that I am in the world, the way that I speak to myself, the way that I speak to others, and how I express myself is a living being version of gratitude in as many moments as possible. Now, not all the time. Okay, I am human. Hello, and there are times when gratitude it escapes me. I'm not the situations that I'm personally reacting to means that I am unable to at that time consciously hook into gratitude. Okay, so and sometimes that's, as I mentioned yesterday, not always appropriate too. Sometimes there are times when other things need to be felt and worked through first. So, gratitude, we can be it, we can speak it, we can write it and journal it. You might sing it. You might paint it. You might move with gratitude. Yeah. Okay. It's a personal thing. As I said, I have gone through periods in my life where I have had a very specific regime and practice around gratitude. And these days, I don't need to necessarily do that every day because it comes through in other ways. As I said, my way of being. Okay, you might just speak your own gratitude in your own mind, and that's it, and that's sufficient. Okay, or you might be someone that needs to express it out loud, whether you're talking to yourself out loud or through the conversations that you're having with others. I love sharing and expressing my gratitude to others about others. Okay, the people that I am grateful to in my life, the people that I am grateful to, you right here now, are listening to this. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. Gratitude ultimately is a perspective, and we get to choose our perspectives. Sometimes we take on our perspectives without any conscious thought having gone into choosing those perspectives. So often a situation might happen. So a good example is I got an email late last night letting me know that I hadn't been selected as a speaker at a event that I had applied for. And it was something that I'd really been gunning for. I was really hoping that that would have come to fruition. So I got this email letting me know that sadly that hadn't worked out. And there is, for me personally, so much to have been grateful for in regards to having gone through the process of applying. It was pretty rigorous. And what that did is, through that process, it got me quite clear about my message under the banner that I've called it the quest to embody joy. Anyway, as a result of having gone through that rigorous process, is that I got my message quite clear written down, which meant that I was able to shoot that off and then apply for a couple of other things that I consequently got accepted on. So I'm very grateful to that rigorous process that I went through, because it actually put me in the situation to be able to capitalize and take up some other opportunities, and will continue to do so. However, last night there was some disappointment there. And it was very easy, if I wanted to just go focus on all the positives, okay, where I have a strong awareness about what's sitting with the unpleasant side of things. I'm well aware of what the benefits of that are. So I didn't skip straight to gratitude, okay, because then I'm losing the gifts and the gold and the opportunity in the circumstance, which was to sit with a little bit of disappointment, a feeling of rejection, a feeling of, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe my message isn't good enough, all of those things. And in sitting with and acknowledging those, then I get the gift of acknowledging all parts of myself and not suppressing or rejecting those parts, because they're real. Okay. Now, that being said, I didn't wallow in it either. Okay. I don't know how many hours later, 12 hours later, and it's okay. Yeah. I'm not still sitting in my shit and all those icky parts. Okay. Because we choose to do that. We choose to allow ourselves to choose the perspective that we want, whether it's the happy, positive side or whether it's the negative side. And there's benefits to both. And really it comes down to what's the situation. It's like sometimes we got to just pull ourselves together and snap out of it a little bit and get on with what needs to be done to get the results that we want. Okay. However, for me personally, if there's nothing that's going to be impacted by me actually sitting with and acknowledging the unpleasant parts, go for it. Go to town. Okay. But at some point, I choose to not be there. I choose to pull myself out and have a different perspective, a perspective of gratitude or whatever it is for us. So yeah, I've spoken with a lot of people about gratitude, and it's definitely that people have their own different way of bringing gratitude into their life, whether they just be it and allow the feelings of gratitude to be there. And think Wendy commented on one of the other videos. She writes out what she's grateful for each day and puts it in a jar and then reflects on that at the end of the year. Okay, so there's lots of different ways of doing it. The practice that I originally started with and still do, just not daily. Okay, I did start out doing this daily originally. And for me, I used to do this at the end of the day. Okay, and there's a reason why I used to do it at the end of the day instead of the beginning. And for me, is that I would write down the things that I was grateful for that particular day, okay? And there might only be 3, Okay, more than often there were a lot more than 3 to be grateful for. And so the reason why I would do this at the end of the day is I would actually extend this exercise. And this is actually what I train in some of my communication leadership training. And that is, not only would I write down all the things that I was grateful for, but I would then move on to a section, and I've called it worries. Worries, concerns, problems, issues, any little things that were bubbling up that were taking up my attention, focusing on, that were troublesome or bothersome to me. Okay, so I called the section worries, but it could be whatever. So it might be that I was working too much or traveling too much, that I was having issues with a friend, or that my animals weren't healthy, or just general life-to-life things that are worry, the day-to-day concerns. So I would do that after I've listed the things that I was grateful for. And then the third step is that I would go through the things that were my worry items, and I would identify which of these were in my control or out of my control. And I would I would actually write them down. I've actually got them here. I would identify whether they were in my control. So AMxo, I would write AMxo. If it was in my control, if there was something that I could do to impact that situation, or whether it was out of my control, so OOMC. And more often than not, the things that were bothersome, that were problematic for me at that time, more often than not were out of my control. And there would be actually quite a weight lifted and relief happen when identifying that these things that were bothersome or worrying for me were actually outside of my control. So I just had to let them go. Okay. The things that were AMxo, in my control, I would then go on and go, okay, so what would be the first step that I could take to influence or change that particular situation? Okay. And so by doing that just before bed, before falling asleep, is that I was getting out all of the things that could be potentially running through my mind that were more than likely to either keep me awake or wake me up during the evening. Okay, so this was coupled in with the bringing in what I was grateful for, was such a beautiful exercise that allowed me to actually relax and get everything out that would cause me to potentially not relax and not sleep properly, and also gain a little bit of perspective as to whether it was something that it was even worth me putting worry or concern into. And for the things that I could influence, it's like, great, now I have an action step. When I wake up tomorrow, I've got a little bit of a plan of attack to sort of change the situations that were bothering me that were in my control. So that is my the gratitude practice that I have been utilizing for well over 10 years. As I said, initially it was a day-to-day thing, particularly because it came in and about as a result of being in a particularly stressful meltdown-y time in my life. So it was necessary to be doing it daily. And I guess what sort of happened is, as time has gone by, instead of needing that daily practice, is that I was starting to embody it and actually do more of the being of gratitude on a day-to-day basis, and just changing thought patterns, the way I was speaking and the way I was being, and embodying that gratitude more so. Now, that being said, I still do this periodically. I've worked out by reflecting on the dates, because I do date these, is that on average it's about every 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. And it's not so much out of needing to do it to get the worries out. It's just knowing that it feels good to do this, and I actually really enjoy the process, and typically it doesn't take me more than 5 minutes. So it's not a big thing. It's really simple, straightforward, and easy. So thank you for listening. That's my practice. I do actually have a little worksheet. If anyone would like the worksheet that kind of goes through those steps, send me a message and I'll shoot that through to you as a PDF. Yeah, I'd also love to hear what your gratitude practice is. Do you dance it? Do you sing it? Do you paint it? All those other things that I mentioned. I'm quite quietly curious to know what people's gratitude practices are. If any, maybe you don't have any, and that's okay. You can steal mine if you like, or you don't have to do anything really. That's cool. So yes, finishing up what I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for today not being in the office and being able to get up at a leisurely time and not have to set the alarm. I'm grateful for this evening. I've got our Waking Women's Collective event gathering here, of which I've got a small number turning up to already, so that's quite exciting. I'm very, very grateful for that. Grateful that the sun is out and spring has finally sprung in Melbourne. It's glorious. So for those of you who are Melbourne based, I hope you get the opportunity to get out there and enjoy it. All right. Thank you for listening. Till tomorrow with Heart and Soul, Andrea Martell. Thank you.